Hey, my name is Steve Stine here from guitarzoom.com, and today we're dusting off one of my classic lesson videos. This lesson on Talk Dirty to Me is exactly what you're probably looking for. It's a perfect example of a catchy guitar solo in the key of G major, so let's check this out. Looking for a major key solo, this one is quite fun to play, kind of combining both major and minor elements together in the key of G, is Talk Dirty to Me. Okay, so the main idea of this song is built around these chords, okay? So the main riff here, what we're doing is playing C to D. And then what you're going to do is play F sharp to G. But I've never played it up here. So I always play it here on the 4th string, going from the 4th fret to the 5th fret. And the only reason I did that is because I used to play this song and always had to sing it. So it was always easier for me to look at the audience and put it in one position instead of always having to look down and make sure I got to the right place. I just played it here so I could look at the audience while I was singing. So it was easier for me to feel it. That's the only reason I did it there. But that's how the main riff goes. And then for the solo, what we're doing is we're playing C, G, C, D. Then we just do it again. C, G, then A, D, and then just go back to G. So it's a pretty traditional kind of chord progression using predominantly 1, 4, 5, it's called, in the key of G. And so the solo is basically just going to be using the key of G. And what's really fun about this solo is that it uses a lot of what's called double stops. So that's where you get into this kind of thing. And what we're doing right there is we're going to be on the 2nd and 3rd strings. We're going to start on the 5th fret. So I'm pressing on both those strings at the same time. And then I'm going to go down to 3 and 4. Then I'm going to go down to 1 and 2. And then I'm going to play the open zeros. Part of the G chord. So I'm going. Okay. And then after I play that, I actually hit the zeros again. And when you listen to the song, the guitar player for Poison, his name is C.C. DeVille, you might hear more strums here and there than I'm hearing, but I play the 5s twice and I play the zeros twice. So I'm going, and then I do it again. And then you've got this long double stop movement that goes. And what I'm doing there is I'm playing the 2 12s twice, 10, 11 twice, 8, 9 twice, 7s twice. So I have, and then 5s twice, 3, 4 twice. So I have. Now, unfortunately, the 1 and 2 is the only one that only gets a single strum, because then I got to get back to these 2 zeros. So it sounds like this. So if I put those 2 pieces together, I get this. Then I go back to this one. And do that twice just like I did the first time. Then what we're going to do is we're going to build our way up using these same double stops that we've been using. So what you're going... Sorry. So what I'm doing is playing the 7s. I'm just playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm moving up to the 8 and 9, 8 times. And then here. And then here. So it looks like this. Now, before I used to play this, I didn't count like 1, 2, 3, 4. I just kind of tremolo strum. And it winds up being that. Okay? But that's how you put it together. So, again, it's not so much that it has to be so tight in terms of its strumming, although to strum that fast, you really do need to alternate pick. I think of it more like all I do is I get this going. Just that thing, and I'm just moving as I hear it in my head. So I'm just going. And I'm just putting it in. You see? So that's what it sounds like. So if I put those pieces all together, you get... Let's try this together. Okay, nice and slow. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's get it ready up here if you've practiced this. And if you haven't, remember, you can always pause this and go through this as many times as you need to get it developed, okay? So here's the next part. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go back to the first one again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we've got this kind of thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Then what we're going to do is we're going to move on to this part. Okay? Which is kind of weird, kind of fun to play. What we're going to do is we're going to bar over the 2 8s at the first and second strings here, and we're going to play the 10, and we're going to bend that 10 up, okay? And right there, we're playing over a C chord, but instead of looking at this as being G major, at this point, C.C. DeVille plays in C minor pentatonic. That's why he's up here on the 8th fret. So he's got this. And what happens is the first time you're going to bend that 10 up and you're going to play these 2 8s at the same time. You're only going to do that one time. Then what you're going to do is go back and do the bend again. And then you're going to do 2 sets of those 8s. So that's kind of cool. So he does just the 1, and then he does 2. Then he keeps doing that. So you have... Okay? And then at the very end, he's got to fill out the rest of that measure by just doing 1 10, and then 1 of something else. So what he actually does, I think, is he plays the 10, but instead of playing those 2 8s, he just hits the first string open. And again, it's not like he's trying to make this overly musical at this point. He's trying to get from this position on the guitar to this position on the guitar. So he's just using it as like an escape to get from one place to the next. Now, I want to show you this first before we move on. But that's why it's ending the way it is. So don't make a big deal out of the very last 2 notes of this. Like, you know, if you hit a different string or something like that, don't stress over it because it's really just an escape for us to get from here to there. So let me play this little lick for you again. Okay, so that's how that's going to go. So I've got this bend, this long 8 or this long 10, and then those 2 8s. And then right away after that, I'm going to play the 10 8 8. And then I'm going to tag another 10 8 8 onto it. And then when I end, instead of going with 1 10 and 1 8 like that, like I started, it actually goes, which sounds really strange, but you're not emphasizing that 0. It's just there to get you from here to there. And now let's look at that lick, and I'll tie these two together. So what's happening here is we're going 3-2-0 as a pull-off, 3-2-0, and then we're going to play 4-2-0, and 4-2-0 on the fourth string. So it's, you'll notice I'm doing pull-offs from 3 to 2 to 0. And then same thing here, and then 4-2-0, 4-2-0. So again, just really creative, interesting. And then he goes back to the third string and goes and finishes it off. So he's going 4-2-0, 4-2-0 on the fourth string, then 3-2-0 on the fifth string, and 3-2-0 on the sixth string. So it's just a symmetrical pattern, which sounds kind of cool. That's all it is. Now, I will warn you, though, when you're doing this, what you need to really be aware of is keeping all those strings quiet. So when you're on this string, make sure you're deadening out everything up here. And as you keep moving up, make sure that this hand starts deadening out all the strings that are underneath your hand. Otherwise, you wind up with just a bunch of, like a lot of noise. So try and be careful with that. Just kind of control them as you go. So here's what we got so far. We have... See how the groove shifts just a little bit from... Okay, that thing. Into this decada. Okay, then we come off of that into this little chromatic thing, which is happening over that A, which is pretty cool. And the last note he plays is a D, which ironically, the last chord that the rhythm player is playing is also a D. So not ironically, he's very well aware of this. It's just crafting a cool solo. Okay. So I'm just playing 12 on the fifth string, twice, and then 9 on the fourth string, twice, 10, twice, 11, twice, and then 12. Boom. Okay, and then I'm going to end with this. So there I'm bending up the 14 of the third string and bringing it back down twice. And then I'm just playing the 12 on the third string twice. So I have... Okay. Then we end with this cool little thing here. Okay, and all I'm doing there is playing the 15th fret of the first string 3 times, and then the 15th fret of the second string 3 times, and then the 12th fret of the third string 3 times, 12th fret of the fourth string 3 times, and then the 10th fret of the fifth string 3 times. So it looks like this. And then it goes back into the song there, okay? So, you know, most people I don't think look at Poison as a band and CeCe DeVille as a guitar player as overly, you know, remarkable when you look at, you know, Eddie Van Halen or blah, blah, blah. But one thing that band is very, very good at is crafting catchy, hooky songs. And this solo really is no exception. You know, Talk Dirty to Me is just a really catchy little cheesy kind of song, but the solo works perfectly. You know, his goal wasn't to try and make some crazy, you know, tapping solo. His goal was to make something that was very melodic and catchy, and in my opinion, I think he did a really wonderful job of that. So that is quite a bit of stuff, and again, that's why we're waiting a little while to get to this particular solo, because there's a few things going on in there that might take a little bit of work. So I want you to take your time with it, and again, always remember that if you need to change a certain fingering that I might be doing, or a certain way of picking something to make a little more sense to you, please always do that, because it's really important. This learning isn't about me, it's about you, and making it something that makes sense in your head and in your fingers. So practice hard and make sure you take your time and stay positive with it, and let's see what you come up with. Hey, I'd like to give you a free pass to my best courses that will take your playing to the next level fast. Just go to guitarzoom.com and get started for free, and there's also a link in the description. Thanks.